for tearing and rending, it is sort of, and this is not a exact analogy, but it's sort of like a Chinese version of jiu-jitsu, but a little bit different, but pretty close. Some styles do it as a part of their styles, but really it is a standalone style. But a lot of it, if you do it just as a standalone style, you may know 80 different ways to really do the same thing, so it can get a little bit repetitive to me, in my opinion. So the first one we're going to do, and I think many of you have done this one already, and it starts as a basic, and then it has lots of variations. We'll try to go over all the variations. So let's imagine we're standing in our self-defense stance like this, right? So this is called white crane nods its head. It's crane like the bird, not the construction equipment. So your right hand goes out here, make a fist, go forward. Okay? So this is how you practice it by yourself. So we're here, go out, make a fist, forward. Again, out, make a fist, go forward. Here, go out, make a fist, go forward. So what are we doing there?
Is it like a lapel grab in jiu-jitsu?
Well, Austin, that's a really good question. I never thought of it that way.
Yeah.
But
your grip is similar.
yeah,
Okay.
Robbie'd be really good to
Yeah,
help you with that one.
Your grip would be similar, but the only difference is in jiu-jitsu, as far as I know, when you grab the lapel, you just hold your hand there. Yeah, pretty much. Now, to put the pressure, though, you're putting your hand forward.
Oh, okay.
That's the pressure, but your grip is the lapel grip.
So on this one, here's my dangerous attacker right here. What I'm going to be doing is I'm here, I'm going out and grabbing her fingers. Alright? And when my crane, this is the crane, when it nods its head, what it's doing is I'm going to keep her elbow pointing down. It goes like this. See that? Okay. Alright, see that? So here. Like that. Now, here's a trick to it. If I keep my arm out like this, that doesn't hurt, does it? No, that doesn't hurt. So I have to bend my elbow. I have to keep my elbow close to my center of gravity, close to my hip. Think of it that way. So it's there. And that really does hurt. Okay? You okay? Alright, so that's the basics of it. Alright, and she disappears behind the couch. So any questions on that? So let's try that again. So it's here, step out, or don't step out, thrust out, grab, then nod the head. As you're doing it, when I do it on a living person that I truly intend to not be gentle with, I might start with my arm extended, which I told you was a no-no. But as I'm doing the motion, I'll step into it. Okay? What you don't want is you don't want to bend over. If you bend over with it, that takes off the pressure off them. Okay? So here, grab, here. And you can push down. Think of it like Darth Vader. To say something really cool like, I'm very disappointed in you, Admiral. Okay? Now, let's talk about variations on it. So let's say you try and do the move. And let's say you try and do the move, hands up. And you grab, but you don't grab one of the fingers. That little pinky's left out. That's not going to hurt it. Matter of fact, as you do it, it's going to be extra mean. What you can do is take your other hand and grab the pinky and pull it to the side. Okay? Now, you have to be careful. They still have the other arm. They can still punch, right? Or they can slap your hand, yes? Or they could punch you. So go ahead and try to punch me. Punch me in the face. Okay, see that? So what you do, as soon as you see their shoulder move, you just take the pressure on that hand. Go ahead and punch. And you just push down, okay? Thank you. All right, any questions on that? And also, too, think of it this way. When you're really doing it, you don't want to just stand there and just look at them and go, ha, 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 and do the move. you're going to try to move and position them where you've got them covered a lot better. What I usually do is kind of bring it in, bring the arm over to their shoulder or their elbow and push down so their face is looking at the ground. That you got them covered. That's just the beginning. Now, that's a one-handed version. There is also a two-handed version. We'll see you later, buddy. Good to almost see you. The two-handed version is the same thing, except instead of just doing it here, we're going to do it with two hands like this. Now, you could do this where your fingers kind of overlap, like that, or you could do it where you've got, this hand's got two fingers, this hand's got two others, and you go down. This one's harder to get, but I have found in real life situations, it comes up a little bit more, to be honest. Because if you're in grappling, it's a little bit sloppy, and you can grab and then grab. But the good thing about having two hands is now you can make the V thing, like you're breaking the wishbone. Right?
It's a good spot for an elbow, too.
Oh, yeah, it's great. It's great. You're totally right, Christopher. All right, does that make sense? Okay. Now we're going to add to it a come along. So we've got our white crane knots the head. Well, no, don't add the come along yet. Let's do a augmentation. Let's think of it that way. So now, if you want, you've got the two-handed augmentation. Also, you've got the chop augmentation. So this hand goes here, hooks underneath the wrist, pulls up as you push down. Like that. Okay? Do we see what that is? Do we need that shown? If we do, that's okay. Austin, Anthony, you guys get what I'm doing there?
Okay, I'm struggling with, so in like boxing and kickboxing and stuff like that, I'm a southpaw. Is there a way I should be standing for this? Or
Yes.
does it matter?
Yeah, for you, well, it doesn't. Austin, are you? Okay, so let's pretend I'm left-handed, okay? So she's got her hands up. Here I'm right-handed, boom, it works the same. Here I'm left-handed, boom, it works the same. If I'm doing two hands, same, no difference, okay, Austin? If I want to do the augmentation, it works the same. Here's second augmentation. See that? Well, you may not. Let me adjust this. This goes here and pulls back. So this is from a left-handed version. The only difference is she may now try to punch with that arm. And if I don't stop her, I have to do something. But I could very easily, as she punches, I could block here, grab her elbow or whatever. Right? Or I could just turn into there.
Okay, so it doesn't matter which way I do it, just
No.
as long as it's done.
Yeah, you just
Okay.
have to, it changes the circumstances slightly because if I'm doing it left-handed, they're in front of me, so they're mirrored. So that means now their left hand is on this opposite side. So if I'm grabbing their right with my left, they have their left arm open so they can punch me. If I'm right-handed, they can do the same thing, except now they're punching to my outside and my back, rather to my front. That's the only difference, okay?
All right.
Alright, how's that feel? Okay, now, with the come along. So, white crane off the head, come along. Now this one will be a little bit different for you, Austin, you being a southpaw, but you can easily adapt it. So the come along, that comes from you're grabbing someone and you want them to come along with you. So you do your white crane off the head. You can do the augmentation or not. But what you are going to do is step up to them here. So your left hip is going to go to their hip. Okay? Then the arm is going to go over like a wrap. Then your knee is going to go to the back of their thigh. Okay? Now, I know that's very difficult to explain, so let me get my noble volunteer. Okay? So, from here, she's got her hands up. I do this, okay? Now, got my white crayon off that. I'm gonna take this arm, go underneath right here first and grab. Then I go hip to hip. This arm slips in. Now I grab here. See that? No, don't do that to make it worse. I'm not gonna hurt you, not gonna hurt you. Here, now I'll take my left leg and then bump to get them going. And if they resist, I just pull back on this, okay? I'll show you how to go. Does that make sense? So white crayon eyes the head, left arm goes under, hits beneath the elbow and grabs. Then you step up and go hip to hip. This comes underneath, and then you push them both together as you need to get them walking. Also, if you're doing that left-handed, it's going to be different by design. All right. So what I'd recommend is go both hands. Right. Then slip this one underneath. Then up. That'd be my solution, but you probably know more about being left-handed than I do. All right. How's that one feel? That one's good. I've used wolf shake or not. I've used white crayon knots head in real life. That come along a couple times. It works good. So this is if somebody comes up next to you and they do that thing where they grab your shoulder and they're like, talking to you, but they're being aggressive. All right. So your arm basically comes up here, snakes down and up. I always used to joke. It's like you're a waiter and you're like, "Here's your soup, sir." So because of that, the kids at one of my locations used to call it the soup of pain. Right, so here. Yeah, everybody got that? Practice that motion. Just like that. Alice, how are you? Is your heart beating? So Alice, my partner is right there. She puts her hand, grabs my shoulder, just like that. Now, if you start doing this weird, funky move, people are going to see it and they're going to go, "No, I don't want you to do that." So you have to take your hand, put it right here, come around, there, and up. And you've got their wrist stuck in your armpits. This armpit's here. Now, you might say, "What if they try to hit you?" Well, what if they do? Well, they might try to hit your hand, sure, but then you grab it. But they might try to punch you or something. Then you just crank it more, right? Or you can step into it and lock them off balance, or you can really crank a lot, but I won't hurt her shoulder. Thank you. Last one. All right, so does that make sense? So grab your shoulder, put your hand there, come around here, and I usually kind of step into it. So here, up. All right. How's all that feel? Okay. Kids self-defense. The first one we're going to do today is the grab the wrist. Now this one could happen sometimes. A bad guy, an attacker, could be walking up and they may come up next to a young person and grab one hand to one wrist. Okay? Since most people in the world are right-handed, we're going to do this as if the bad guy is right-handed. When we do this technique though, keep in mind that some of the self-defense techniques we'll use our basics, like the horse stance. And we'll be doing that in this. So, when you do this technique, one thing you're going to have to do is make a chicken wing, or chicken fist, chicken hand, whatever you want to call it. So you're going to take all your fingers and your thumb and point them together in a point, and then bend your hand in as far as you can. All right? So when the bad guy grabs the wrist, you'll make your hand into that. Then from there, let's say I'm walking, someone grabs my right hand, I step back into a horse stance, put this hand here, and I drop my weight and pull down all at once. Okay? Now, I will have my assistants come over here and we'll do this together. So this is my assistant. So now let's imagine that I am a bad guy and I walk through and maybe she is not aware, and I grab her wrist here. Now she's going to take her opposite hand or opposite leg as the hand that's being grabbed, step back into a horse stance, get deep, and then drop the weight and knock it down. Let's do it again. So take a real far back horse stance and drop it down. If you need to, you can take the other hand and push on their hand or their arm at the same time your hand drops down. Try that. No. And push in at the same time. Then, after you're free, turn and run away to safety. That's right, run away to safety. That goes with our 3 rules of self-defense. Now, push the button. Alright, so now let's talk about our rules of self-defense. So within our school and our martial arts system, we have 3 rules of self-defense. First rule is always be aware. So that means always pay attention. Always pay attention to your surroundings. If you're walking somewhere, pay attention to where you're walking, what's in front of you, what's behind you. Not just what people are in front of you, which is important, but also what things are in front of you. If you avoid the people that make you feel scared, but then you walk into a hole and break your leg, then that really doesn't help. So you have to watch for things and for people that might be dangerous in front, around, and behind you. Also watch for places where dangerous people or things could be. You know, in a bunch of bushes, someone could be hiding to attack you, but also there could be a dog or a snake or something like that. So that's rule number 1, always be aware. Rule number 2 is always protect your bubble. Always keep your circle. And by that, what we mean is your circle, your personal space circle, is the length of your arms here. Now, don't walk around like this all day. People will think you're kind of weird. But get used to this distance. Don't let anyone that you don't trust into that circle, into that distance. Now, if we're going to do that with a partner, let me borrow my assistant again. So if she's standing there and I come over, I'm a stranger. Now I'm in her circle. I'm too close. But now she's being aware, she's being alert. If I walk over and try to grab, she can move away. She can move to where she stays out or keeps me out of her circle. If it's possible, she could always just move straight back. Right? And she could take her guard. In a situation where maybe you're walking down the street, let's say she starts over there, and let's pretend this is a street and she walks this way. Go ahead, start walking. And I'm a bad guy. If I get in her circle, I could easily grab. So really what we should do is when she walks, go ahead, walk. She should walk away so that I stay out of her circle. Thank you. So that's rule number 2, protect your circle, your personal space. Rule number 3, run away if you can. It's okay to run away from a confrontation. It's okay to run away from an attack, but try to run to safety. Run to a safe place. Or my joke is always watch a scary movie and do the opposite of what those people do. Run to a place that has people, preferably people in uniforms. If it's dark, make sure the place has lots of lights if it's not outside. And run to a place where you can contact someone or get help. So that's the 3 rules of self-defense. Always be aware, protect your circle, run if you can.